What's up, y'all? Thank you for stepping into Diana's room. If this is your first time here, welcome. My name is Nike, but you can call me Diana. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys the art of blending. Not really the art, but the tips that can actually help you blend better. Because every time I talk about blending, everyone is always like, oh, that is my problem. Like everyone just always has issues with blending. But one of my roommates actually sent me a message and told me she really had issues blending, and that is her main problem, and she doesn't want to put on makeup because of that reason. So I said, no, not on my watch. Okay, I'm basically going to be sharing with you tips and basically how to blend. So if you'd like to see that, please keep watching.
You're special and she reckless. Remember, you're my bestest friend. Yeah, she my bestie.
To show you these blending tips, I'm going to be doing my foundation, highlight and contour, and then I'll show you blending of powder as well. And that will basically be what we'll see in this video. In some parts I'll use beauty sponges, in some parts I'll use brushes, so you guys can understand, like whichever one you use, you can understand how to blend with them. I already did a video about beauty blenders versus brushes, so you can check that out to see the difference. So I'm going to go and do my eyebrows and my coverage off camera, and then I'll come back. So I'm done with my eyebrows and my base now, and I honestly wished I showed that, because it would be good for someone who has spots and stuff to see how you cover them. But maybe I should do that in a totally different video. Let me know. But if you watch my new foundation routine, I kind of showed how to cover your spots, so you can check that one out as well. So my base is on. I've covered all my spots. I know it kind of looks like I have foundation on, but I do not. I absolutely do not have any foundation on. So we're going to go ahead and start with the foundation. So I'm going to be using my Black Opal Even True foundation to start this blending. So my very first tip when it comes to blending is using your products sparingly. Don't put too much at a time. You can layer them. If you feel like it's not enough, put another layer, but do them in smaller bits. Don't just put so much foundation or so much product on your face. Blending is literally going to become way harder that way. So just look at how much I've put on this side. It may not be enough, but it's better for it to be less than too much. So yeah, less is more when it comes to blending. So I'm going to be using my foundation brush to blend this out. And just look how I'm spreading the product out. I'm literally just pressing on and then spreading out to all the areas I need covered. I know I scream this every time. Don't swipe your product off. Press it in. And it's because that's the best way to truly get proper coverage on your makeup. So I'm going to go ahead and blend this other side out as well. Just tap, move around till it smoothens out. Basically, that is the only motion you want to keep when it comes to blending. Especially when it comes to foundation, you want to spread it out and make sure everything like suffices. So I'm going to go ahead and do my forehead. I have some foundation on the cover, so I'm just going to take some of that, put on my forehead, and do the same thing with the tap and spread. No swiping. And when you're using the brush, you have to know how to control your hand. Don't overdo it that you start going into areas you don't need to go into. So just keep it controlled. Like I hold my brush in different ways. If I'm doing a smaller area, just pinch it with my hand and then just tap. But if I'm doing wide area like my foundation is the whole face, so you really don't have to be too careful. But at the same time, you don't want to go into your eyebrows, you don't want to go into your eye, you don't want to go into your hairline completely. So just be respectful with it. So I still have my spots peeking through on my forehead, so I'm going to add a little bit more foundation, and that's what I mean by layering. Now I'm adding more and just tapping it in again, rather than putting so much in the beginning and everything just becomes so hard to blend and too much work. So there goes that for foundation. I'm going to move on to my highlight now and then give you more tips on blending. So I'm just going to go ahead and apply. Another thing you need to know is depending on the part of your face you're doing, or depending on the product you're using for that part of your face, you kind of need to know the consistency of that product you're using. For instance, concealer dries a lot quicker than foundation. So with foundation, you can just move at your own pace. But when it comes to concealer, you actually want to move faster than usual. Especially if you're a beginner, you don't want your foundation, you don't want your concealer to start drying on your face. Once it starts to dry like that, to blend it becomes like proper work. And if you're not yet there with blending, you're literally going to like almost ruin your makeup. You want to make sure you move fast while the concealer is still a little bit wet. I know some people say do it when it has dried a bit, but if you're still learning how to blend, don't do that. Do it as it is. I'm going to go ahead and blend this side with my brush and then blend this side with my beauty blender. So let's do this with brush. Can you guys see how I'm using the brush in smaller areas, just around where I need it? So I've kind of touched on the second tip already in the first one, which is the tap tap motion until everything is smooth and your harsh lines are gone. So basically, see how I'm tapping and just spreading it out. Tapping and spreading it out. You don't want to spread it too much that it goes everywhere, but the areas that it is needed, just spread them. Just tap tap spread until all harsh lines are gone and it literally looks like it's just your skin making that lighter effect. Then here as well. So we just want to keep this under the eye and the areas I basically applied. So I'm not going to go overboard or any parts other than that. Tap 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 and harsh lines are gone. You didn't see me swipe at any point. It was just tap tap motion and all the harsh lines are gone and everything is fully blended out. I didn't take it below the line I wanted it to be, just around the same area. You just need to tap around that area and, you know, back forth till your harsh lines start to disappear. So that's my second tip. So now we're going to do this other side with beauty blenders. We're going to do the nose, the forehead as well with the beauty blender. So I'm going to wet this a bit. I'll do my nose first. Tap tap and move. You guys see that? It's basically the same thing with the brush, with the beauty blender. You just need to follow where you applied, tap and keep tapping until all harsh lines are gone. So it's a big repetitive process. I don't want this to go all over my forehead, so I'm just staying in this same area, tapping. Yep. And it is properly blended. So now we're going to go ahead and blend this side. For beginners, I think when it comes to blending, just stick, I think for the most part, stick to a beauty blender. They're probably easier to work than brushes. Maybe just stick to your powder brushes and all that kind of stuff, but beauty blenders will probably give you more precision and more control. And tap 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 tap, voila, we're done. It's basically just tap 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 in a back and forth motion until your harsh lines disappear. You can take it into your eyelid, you can take it out here, not too low but like on the same line out. Just blend it in the areas you need it till your harsh lines disappears. That's basically what it is. So we're going to go ahead and contour now, and this brings me to my third tip. Always apply where you need. Always apply where you need your products. And that's why a lot of people make mistakes and blending becomes hard for them, because you want to highlight your face, you probably take it all the way down here. That's already too much. By the time you're done blending, it's already here. So that's a problem. Always put your products at exactly the point where you need it, so that when you blend, even if it goes higher or lower, it is still fine because you're within the parameters you need the products. using less products, not too much, because that's why some people find it hard to blend contour, because you're using too much product and you just look very black or brown. So just a little bit. I'm not even bringing it in all the way, just right there underneath my cheekbones. I'm doing it this way because when I blend, I probably will bring it into this area. Staying within this area helps my blending not to go overboard. By the way, I have a highlight and contour videos for beginners, so if you want to see that, I will link it at the top. For this area, I barely even use products. Like, I use very tiny because I don't want it to become so hard for me to blend and my jaw is just looking black into my neck. So I use like very tiny product, little to nothing basically. So now that all these parts are done, we're going to go ahead and contour the nose. I'm going to be using a flat brush to apply. This is really application process. I've not even started blending. When it comes to blending, application is also important. That's what I've been explaining since. How you place it, where you place it, if that makes any sense. Contour the nose. Okay, now so onto blending. I'm going to be blending the same way I did the highlights. So for this, I'm just going to push, same motion, tap tap tap, spread. So harsh lines are gone. See, it's not too much, it's not too alarming, it's not too disturbing, it's just light. It doesn't look like anything was going on there. Like, looks like my skin is just doing its thing. So I'm going to go ahead and blend this out too. Not really into my neck, but like right underneath the jawbone. Let me do half of my forehead as well. I'm going to be using the same beauty sponge, but the other side. Spray it, and then same tap tap tap, back and forth motion. I'm purposely holding it this way, so if I do it like this, I could get it all the way down. So doing it like this kind of controls, you know, the area your product goes into. Back and forth, tap tap tap. So we're going to use Beauty Blender to blend the nose and the Cupid's bow. The nose, as you can see, I'm pinching it so it can stay in this area precisely. And I'm just tapping it in, back and forth. But this works too. The way you hold your tools also matters. If you've noticed, all through this blending process, I've been holding my my brush a certain way. I've been holding my beauty blender a certain way. So you have to just kind of know how to use it in whatever area it is you're doing. The brush I used for my this is the brush I used for my contour, and it was just sideways like this. I didn't do it like this, it was sideways, so it's like this flat, so it controls the area I wanted to get into. Same as the beauty blender. When I was doing my nose, I pinched it and did it so it's slim. When I was doing this area, it was this way. So the way you hold your tools also matters. So I guess that's like a bonus tip. We're going to go ahead and set the face now with this Sacha Buttercup powder. So like I said, application also matters. When you're doing different steps, you already know where you applied your stuff. So for this setting powder, you just basically apply where you applied your highlights earlier on. I don't even know why I'm talking about application with you guys. This is a blending video, but I guess I can't help myself. Also with powders, you don't want to do too much. Whenever I do too much, I literally get so upset with myself because powders can be so tricky to blend, so tricky. So when you're applying your powders, do so sparingly. So all the tips I've said earlier on kind of apply when it comes to powders as well. You know, not too much products, just enough. Less is more. And then apply exactly where you need the products. Blend till harsh lines are gone. But the motion for powder is different, so that's exactly what I want to show you guys. So now we go to blending. When it comes to powders, you mostly only need brushes. So I'm going to be using this tapered brush. I think that's how they say it. And basically tap, tap, swipe. Tap, tap, swipe. Do the same here. This one is just basically swiping off. You know, you're not put so much energy. Hold your brush as light as possible and then just swipe off. So with powders, it's mostly just a swipe motion. Not too rigorous with it. Then you go ahead and do your nose as well. Forehead, swipe, swipe. Swipe it into the darker parts. That way everything looks properly blended in. This looks so pretty, guys. Amazing base right here. So for under my eye, I basically just like to tap the powder in. Tap the powder in and swipe a little bit. The tapping kind of makes it sit in your skin properly other than just going off. So I like to tap and then swipe. And look at that. So I believe points have been taken from this powder blending process. Like, it's literally so easy. It's tap, tap, swipe. On some areas it's just swipe, some areas it's tap, tap, swipe. The areas where you want the product to sit properly, tap, tap, then swipe off, tap, tap, then swipe off, till everything is properly blended in and your face is just doing the damn thing, you know. Now we're going to move on to contour. I'm using this powder palette, the second to the darkest color. I think it's called Cappuccino. Yeah. So like I said, it's just a repetition of every tip I had mentioned earlier. You take very little product. I like to dust it off this way, or so I'm not putting too much product at once on my face and it just becomes a disaster. And then just swipe it back and forth, swipe it back and forth. When you don't use too much product, it literally makes it so easy to blend it in. The same thing for the forehead. Very little product, just swipe, swipe, swipe back and forth till everything looks properly blended. Here I barely use any product. I just use the residue from the brush because the cream concealer already did everything. So just residue and I swipe back and forth. For the nose, I'm going to be using this smaller brush to define the lines. So that's basically blending in a nutshell. It's really not rocket science. It's not as hard as it looks. So I believe with good practice and constantly doing it, you always get better. I'm sure I wasn't blending perfectly when I just started doing makeup, but the more you do it, the better you get at it, if that makes any sense. So I'm going to go ahead and get cute and come back. So I finished my makeup off camera now, and I don't know what this is on my head. I just felt like it was a vibe. I look a little bit old school. And I also did individual lashes for the first time. I know that's besides the point for this video, but I just felt the need to share because I'm excited that I did that. Anyway, that's it for this blending video. Those are the tips I have to help you blend better as a beginner. Use less products, and if you feel like the products you've put is not enough, layer it. Put your products exactly where you need them. If it's just under your eye, you need it, do it under your eye. If it's just on your nose, do it on your nose. Don't go overboard with your application. How you use your tools matter, okay? How you hold your beauty blenders, how you hold your brushes, all that mattered as I've shown you in this video. Also, the swipe method in using powders, just tap, tap, swipe, and your powder is properly blended. I feel like I'm missing something. Yes, also don't swipe when you're using cream. Don't swipe off. Just tap and spread around the areas you need them, back and forth, and it's just a repetitive process throughout your makeup, guys. So it is literally not rocket science. Anybody can do it. You can do it too, okay? And to my roomie that asked for this video, I hope your bell notifications are on so you know when this video goes up. I hope it is, okay? I hope it is. Anyway, thank you so much guys for watching this video. I hope it was really helpful. If you have any questions, you can leave it for me in the comment section and I'll be sure to reply. And if you have any other requests as well, I will gladly get to it. I don't care if it's 1 of you, 2 of you, 3 of you. I'm going to get to it, okay? All my roomies need to be taken care of, okay? So thank you so much for your time. Thank you for watching. If you aren't already subscribed and you've watched this video to this point, please click the subscribe button, click the bell as well so you get a notification every time I post. I post twice or once every week. Give this a thumbs up as well, please. All this helped me grow. Thank you so much and I'll see you in my next one. Until then, let's get it together.